So this stuff right here is the kind of stuff that drives me absolutely crazy because, of course, this should be, everybody should be talking about this. The media should be talking about this. The Democrats should be talking about this. The Republicans should never hear the end of this. They shouldn't be able to go in public without somebody shouting this in their face. Take a look at this from Rolling Stone. Republicans aren't just gutting health care. They're taking your sick leave, too. GOP-controlled legislatures have rolled back and narrowed voter-approved paid sick leave policies. All right. So let's break that down for you in a second. But on the healthcare portion real quick, remember the current government shutdown that's going on. The main crux of the issue is that Democrats are saying, you need 6 of our votes to get anything through, or 6 or 7. You need our votes to get anything through. So you have to deal with us. You have to work with us. All we're asking, and they could have gone a lot further than this, but they didn't. They said, all we're asking is reverse the cuts to Medicaid, which, by the way, would save 17 million people from getting kicked off of Medicaid, right? And keep the Obamacare subsidies going, because if you cut them off, people's healthcare premiums are going to, in some cases, double, in some cases, triple, in some cases, quadruple. So, very basic. Hey, stop stealing people's healthcare. That's all they're asking for. Republicans are saying, no, we're not going to do that. And also, we're going to lie and say, you're trying to give illegals healthcare or something, which is why you're shutting down the government, even though we're doing it. So this is where we are, like dealing with the most dishonest opponent of all time. Ready? Americans are a sick people. Among their economic peers, they expect to live shorter lives, experience higher rates of chronic disease, and spend more on their care and upkeep. The baseline necessities for maintaining a healthy human body over the course of a lifetime are often a luxury. Nevertheless, 1 in 5 Americans lack the ability to take a paid sick day from work if they fall ill. Healthcare, from ease of access to programs like Medicaid to a woman's ability to access abortion care, is governed by a patchwork of increasingly complex state-level laws and policies. Sick leave is no different. Across the private sector and state and local governments, around 26.5 million employees do not have access to paid sick time, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics released this year. The disparity is concentrated among low-income, part-time, and service industry workers, only about half of whom have access to paid sick days. Among the lowest 10% of earners, only 41% have paid sick leave, while 94% of the top 25% of earners have it. There is no federal law guaranteeing what, in most developed countries, is an uncontested, uncontroversial workers' right. In fact, even as voters push to codify sick leave policies into local law, this year alone, at least 3 Republican-controlled states are attempting to roll back leave provisions. In Missouri, voters overwhelmingly approved a referendum guaranteeing statewide paid sick leave and an increase to the state's minimum wage. Shortly after the mandate went into effect, Republicans in the legislature repealed it outright. In Nebraska, Republicans tacked an amendment onto a similar law, also passed by referendum, that significantly narrowed the pool of businesses covered and which employees were entitled to the benefit. The amendment also stripped employees of the right to sue over the enforcement of the law. In Alaska, the state's Republican administration worked to limit the scope of its own ballot-approved sick leave law via regulations instituted by the Alaska Department of Labor and Workforce Development. Holy shit. So, in other words, you got all these states, even red states, where they have a direct ballot initiative, meaning direct democracy, a direct vote on a specific issue. The specific issue is, should we have paid sick leave? And it'll say X amount of weeks and you get paid this amount or whatever. But should we have paid sick leave? Yes or no? And in these cases, the paid sick leave wins overwhelmingly, by the way. Usually these things the numbers are colossal. Like, you get basically all the Democratic voters say, yes, I want it. And like half the Republican voters say, yes, I want it, right? Because people are not masochistic, right? They might have some bad ideas or not know history or not know the ins and outs of policies. But if you put it out there plain as day, they're not masochistic. People want paid sick leave. Everybody's got a job. You got to pay the bills. Hey, I get sick sometimes. I want to make sure I still get some money, right? So no brainer. But every time these things are passed, every time they're passed, what do Republicans do? After the fact, start gutting it. In one case, totally repeal it. In another case, over-regulate it, which, by the way, I thought the Republicans, you're supposed to be against regulation, right? You told me business needs to stay out of shit, or the government needs to stay out of a business's way, right? Well, here you are going, here's more red tape, here are more regulations, here's more hoops to jump through. This is only going to apply to certain jobs now because I say so, right? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And this is the sort of shit that should honestly lead to a revolution. This is the sort of shit that should make all these people go, I will literally never again in my life vote for a Republican because they clearly fucking hate me. If you wonder, hey, who do the Republicans represent? All they care, it's the billionaires, it's the corporations, and it's the fascists. That's it. They don't care about working class people. They simply don't care. If they cared, they would have allowed paid sick leave to stand. And they act like this is some sort of insane affront to the free market. Meanwhile, every developed country has this shit. Paid sick leave is not that difficult. Oh my God. Quote, 57% of the people voted for it. Missouri Senate Minority Leader Doug Beck, a Democrat, tells Rolling Stone of the state's referendum. 109 out of 163 representative districts, which would be a supermajority, voted for it. 20 out of 34 Senate seats voted for it, and 6 out of 8 congressional seats voted for. So it's pretty much a mandate. Republicans overturned that. God, I hope everybody in Missouri fucking remembers that. I hope everybody remembers that. I hope these people, and this is the thing, right? This is why you need good media. This is why you need a good opposition party. This is why you need to hammer home the message, because these people need to know. The Republicans are the reason why you're not getting your paid sick days. They tanked it. They ruined it. You voted for it. They blocked it. Beck says Democrats tried to negotiate a way to preserve coverage for as many Missourians as possible, even if it meant limiting what businesses would be subject to the law, only to have the rug pulled out from them at the last moment. So in other words, the Republicans had the overwhelming number, so the Democrats went, look, we know you want to trash this thing, but we'll at least we'll negotiate with you to take away some protections for some businesses, but still keep the law intact overall. And even then, Republicans went, no, fuck off, we're getting rid of all of it. Quote, we got there and they reneged on their deal in the middle of the night. In an era where politics tend to split the American population down the middle, support for the right to paid sick leave and other forms of paid medical leave is an issue that has astronomically high support across the United States. The lawmakers and advocates who spoke to Rolling Stone agreed on one thing. It's not voters who are pushing for the weakening of leave policies, but business interests and corporate lobbies. You don't say, no fucking shit. On issues like this, it's kind of across the board. If people vote on raising the minimum wage on a direct ballot initiative, most of the time it passes with flying fucking colors. Same with legalizing weed. Most of the time it'll pass with flying fucking colors. Paid sick leave, paid vacation days, paid maternity leave, paid paternity leave, right? These are all things that if you let people vote on it directly, they'll say absolutely. And so now the difficult thing is linking this together for people with, hey, Democrats support these things, Republicans are against these things. If you support Republicans, you are against your best interest, right? You're voting to harm yourself. You're voting to harm your own wallet. You're voting to make your life more difficult. And that's the thing is, those dots, I don't know if they've been fully connected for people. But this is what I mean, guys. Like, these people are evil. This is what you need to understand. Like, this Republican Party is an evil party, actively. They don't like you. They fucking hate you. They want to make your life harder. And any other bullshit they try to do to pretend like they're appealing to you, it's all nonsense. They might talk more about religion or, whatever. They might find a way to take culture issues and like snuggle up to some right-wing voters. But at the end of the day, they will make your life more difficult, right? Which is why Trump, when he's on the campaign trail, he talks a big game about being anti-elitist or whatever. Meanwhile, he pretends like he's populist. Meanwhile, what did he do? He killed an increase in overtime pay for millions of people. He killed the $15 minimum wage for federal contractors. He opposed the PRO Act and a minimum wage increase. He destroyed the NLRB with anti-labor union picks, and so that made it so the NLRB was toothless. He destroyed the CFPB, which made it so the big financial institutions can rob you. He outsourced 200,000 jobs in his first term alone. Now he's already outsourced over 800,000 jobs in his second term. His tax bill raised taxes on the bottom 90% and cut them for billionaires. He cut Social Security, he cut Medicare, he cut Medicaid. 2.3 million people lost healthcare in his first term. In the big bullshit bill in the second term, they're trying to kick 17 million people off Medicaid. They're trying to triple or quadruple healthcare premiums by getting rid of the Obamacare subsidies, the Affordable Care Act subsidies. This is what they do. Their decisions make your life worse, period. Period, full stop. And so I hope everybody shares this segment. I hope they realize what's going on here, because the Republicans literally are at war with the American people, and I think a lot of American people don't know that. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.